All right, everybody, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and let's jump right into today's deep dive. We all know how crazy election season can be, but we found a story that might top them all. So,
Yeah.
George Clooney. Yeah. You know, the one and only Danny Ocean just narrated a campaign ad for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And this is where things get a little interesting.
Well, what's really wild is this ad comes out just a couple of months after Clooney wrote an op-ed, basically saying Biden needs to drop out of the race,
Definitely didn't hold
Yeah,
water.
and even compared Biden to his debate with Trump.
Okay, so let's unpack all of this, starting with the ad itself. It's aimed at men, and it's from a group called Vote Common Good, and Clooney's doing the voiceover. And it's all about, how the voting booth is private. Like, no judgment there.
Vote Common Good is a progressive evangelical group, and they're going about this strategically. They're targeting, the pressure that men might feel to vote in a certain way, especially in this MAGA world we're living in.
Yeah, they even show a guy wearing a "Try That in a Small Town" t-shirt, which, is pretty controversial.
That song started a lot of arguments. Some people saw it as a patriotic song. Others, not so much. I think they used that image to tap into the anxieties that some men are feeling about cultural changes happening today.
And then it gets better. One of the guys in the ad glances at his daughter right before he votes for Harris. It's pretty cute.
You can't resist those adorable kids. But jokes aside, this ad and a similar one they did with Julia Roberts that focused on a women's right to choose are a great example of how Vote Common Good is working. They're using specific messages for specific groups of voters.
So now we have Clooney, who seems to be a big supporter of Harris.
Nah, but
just a few months ago, he was writing an op-ed basically begging Biden to step down.
yeah, he was pretty harsh. He quoted Biden as saying, "It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe Big effing deal Biden of 2010. He even said that Biden was the same as we saw in the debate with Trump.
Wow. And Clooney wasn't alone. This op-ed reflected a fear within the Democratic Party. Are we starting to see Biden's age? This isn't a new concern, though, is it?
Not at all. There have been concerns about the age and health of presidents in the past as well. Clooney's op-ed brought those concerns back to the forefront for the 2024 election. And it put that concern under a very harsh spotlight.
What happens? Biden actually steps down, and Harris takes over.
Which is a really big deal in American politics. A president quitting during his term. That's not normal.
So what does Clooney have to say now?
Well, now he's praising Biden. He called it the most selfless thing a president has done since George Washington.
Wow, this is getting crazy. But Clooney's change of heart brings up a bigger issue. What is the role of celebrities in politics? Do they actually influence voters, or are they just noise?
That's the question, isn't it? On one hand, celebrities have these huge platforms. Millions of people see what they post online. They can raise awareness and maybe even convince people to vote.
Yeah, you have people like Oprah, Leo DiCaprio, Taylor Swift. Everyone seems to have a political opinion these days. Some even run for office themselves.
Right. But on the other hand, do celebrities actually change anyone's mind about who to vote for? Some say that people vote based on their own beliefs, not based on what some actor says on Instagram. And then there's always the risk that a celebrity will do something stupid and hurt the candidate they're trying to support.
Yeah, like when a celebrity gets caught in some scandal or says something totally offensive, and then it hurts the whole campaign.
Exactly. So celebrities can get people talking about politics, but whether they actually change anyone's vote is a different story.
Okay, so we've seen Clooney switch from criticizing Biden to supporting Harris. We saw Biden step down, which was a historic event. And we talked about the role of celebrities in politics.
Yeah.
But let's not forget who really matters in all of this: the voters.
Right. In the end, it's the voters who decide who becomes president.
And they do that by thinking about their own beliefs, considering the candidates, and maybe even listening to what their favorite celebrities have to say.
Every voter has their own perspective and priorities. That's what makes elections so interesting.
Yeah, exactly. We can analyze trends and make predictions. But trying to guess how people will vote is like trying to predict the weather.
It's a beauty and the headache of democracy. It's always changing, shaped by so many different voices and ideas.
That's why it's so important for everyone to stay informed, to discuss these issues, and most importantly, to get out there and vote.
I agree. Our voices matter, and our choices shape the future.
Okay, so before we finish up, let's go back to that Clooney ad for Harris. We talked about the tagline, the controversial t-shirt, the cute dad moment. But there's one thing we haven't really discussed yet. The three guys walking into the voting booth.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely intentional. They wanted to show the ad's target audience, men.
Right. And it plays with this idea of masculinity. It's like they're saying, hey guys, voting for a woman doesn't make you any less of a man. Especially these days. That's a really strong message.
I agree. It challenges traditional gender roles and encourages men to think for themselves.
And it goes perfectly with the idea that the voting booth is private. Like they're saying, no one's judging you in here. Vote for whoever you want.
Which is important now more than ever.
So that Clooney ad is actually a really well-made ad.
Yeah. It proves that even small details can have a big impact.
And it reminds us to look deeper and really think about the messages in political ads.
Exactly. The next time you see a political ad, don't just ignore it, analyze it. You might be surprised by what you find.
We started with this crazy Clooney ad, and we ended up talking about the whole world of celebrity politics. We discussed what it meant when Biden stepped down and how voters make decisions.
We really dug into campaign strategies, the media's role, and how a single ad can be so effective.
But as always,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with something to think about. So,
Yeah.
here's a question. If you could have dinner with any celebrity, dead or alive, and ask them about their political views, who would you choose?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm sure our listeners have some strong opinions on that.
Tell us who you'd pick and what you'd ask them. Leave your answers in the comments below. What did you think of Clooney's journey? What surprised you? We want to hear all about it.
The more we all talk about these issues, the better prepared we'll be to deal with everything happening in the world.
Absolutely. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell a friend. We'll be back soon with more. Until then, stay curious and stay engaged.